Hi everybody. I wanted to do a video on my 1957 Gottlieb Royal Flush Machine. Ignore the messiness of my workshop at the moment. I do work on all sorts of stuff. Typewriters, Atari games, old arcade games, fun stuff. And this guy just sold him to a collector, and while playing it, I realized I had another issue. So it's playing right now, right? I got all 5 balls, because this one takes 5 balls. All the play fields work. You can spin it. You can hit the king, and the king will light up. Spin it again. Joker. Yeah, that all works fine. But sometimes, let's get some 10 position ones here. On reset, and put all the balls in. They all show in there. Game over. Doesn't say game over anywhere on the screen, but we hit the play button because I have credits in it. I have 5 credits in there. We get hung up sometimes. See, it's hung up on 9. That 10 reel is not fully reset, has not gone all the way around. If we open, first let's take the rest of the balls out. All right, and that one's not through yet because it's not fully resetted. Resetted. Our wheel's spinning. Let's get some lights. Our wheel is spinning, and sorry, our U servo right here is held down. So we look at the schematic. I won't show the whole thing because this is proprietary stuff, still patent protected and all that. But I will show you that U right here runs only to the 10,000 unit, minus 1 position on the 10,000 unit. So that is the only thing that could possibly be holding our U down. That's it. So we're going to come to the back of this, see if we can fix that. Now, here's a fun fact for you. If you hit the play button, it will fully reset. Two hits on the play button always fully resets it. See, 0 on that. Happy. Okay. So, this is our 10,000 stepper here on the back. Down here we have our tens units and our millions units, pretty sure. I know for sure this one's 10. I know for sure this one on this side is 10,000. So this one has 2 sides, and what's cool is it has a, I don't know if I can show it to you. It's got like a lever action going on right in there. So what we can do is we can take this screw out up here, which I've already done once, and obviously not to the best ability. We're going to turn the machine off. Get this flashlight going here. I don't know if that's really helping or not, but it's doing something, I guess. Okay, that's really loose. Can I get it out with my hand? Yes. Come on. There it is. And then this will lean forward all the way down. Just gotta make sure we're not kinking or hurting any of you guys. Okay, there it is. So what we really want to see is what is stopping this from sometimes resetting. We definitely, look how much I've messed with this guy. Oh my lord, he's probably our issue. Oh, I don't know if I've done that or what have you, but this guy's smashed, man. Maybe over time it's just done that to that guy. We're definitely gonna clean that. Those contacts in there. Yeah, looks like they're making a good connection. Is it supposed to push him into that one? I don't think so. I think those two are just supposed to touch. Like so. I don't think he's really supposed to. Let's see if I can show you guys better. So what's going on is, on the back here, these two are supposed to touch, right? And these two are supposed to untouch. But sometimes this is pushing him into the back of that guy. And that's no good, I don't think. I think we need a spacer here, because I really don't think that that is supposed to be pushing that. So what we can do is just bend him down a little bit. Bend him down a little bit. Bend them together so that it's still, that's better. And then, for good measure, we're going to, let me get through here. We got too many arcade machines. We got some files. Just little guys like this. I gotta get in front of something. In front of the head-on. Little guys like that. Just a little hand file. Yep. And we're gonna sneak right back in here. And we're gonna just clean those contacts really well. Put that light down here, or like that. Oh, that seems so dim to me. See if this fixes our issue. Or if it's something else. So let's make sure that when we hit that, those two definitely touch and those two definitely stop touching. Okay. Let's check the rest of them back here. There's only one more switch. And when does that strike? Let's see. Right there. That's how you know it's fully reset, I think. It's when that touches off. So let's give it some. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. that. Okay. Let's put the lid back on, or the front. Flip this back up. And those look okay there. They look like they've got a good distance, and if I do this, those two touch, these two don't, and there's a little pad in the middle to make sure they don't touch off on each other, which I imagine this one should have. This one should have that, but it don't, probably because they're just so far apart. Okay, so we're gonna put this back up. And then if this still doesn't work, the next thing would be to clean these front ones on this rotary wheel, because I've already done that once with deoxit and stuff, but there it is. And that is fully resetting. If I can find it. Where you at? There you are. And this guy lets it go all the way back. Everything else is fine back here. This has all been cleaned and gone through. I do want to say that, look at those. Like, if that's not years and years and years of play, I don't know what is. I don't know how much longer that wheel has left in it, because it's literally just worn down to the nubs. Like, I might just put solder on those or something to bring those pads back, because they are so poorly. There's not much left of them. Like, move the wheel a bit so you can see. Look at that. Like, there's just nothing left. Anyways, okay, we're gonna turn it back on. And it fully reset. Which it wasn't doing. The U was stuck. Now the U's unstuck. So we gotta tell it that the game's over. And the way that this knows that game's over is these guys right here. Yeah, is these guys. So we hit those. Gotta hit them at the same time though. I usually use my phone for this, and you guys are utilizing that, so I can't. So we're gonna use my wallet. There, that means game reset. Game over. So we can start a new game by hitting the button on the front. And it seems happy again. Back at 0, everything. So let's try it. Take this light off. Okay. And we got to get the balls back in there. They're in my pocket. So one should still be in there. It is. One is still in there. We'll put target. That's going as intended. Okay. Put those down. Only have 3. 4, 5. Okay, the game's reset. So now we can hit the button again. We still have that hold up. So that didn't fix it. So let's see what we can see down in here. So one ball is not launched. It's in the 1 position there. We don't want to put all the balls back in because that'll make it game over again. I'll put it in my pocket. And let's see if the thousands wheel has fully reset or not. It sure looks like it. Okay, we've gotten farther with this. So, what I've noticed, when I reset the game, if the table is up, I can never get it to do that issue. Ever. When the table is down, it will do it almost every time. Also, I have realized that the third relay in here, 1, 2, 3, and I, thank God, have the paper. It's come off, but I have it. And I know because this one says rollover sequence no coil, that this is supposed to go this way on there. So that coil is X. That is turning on during the reset sequence. And when I hit this coil up here a second time and reset that, it always fixes it. The game always resets fine after that. And I'm noting that that's the same thing that's happening when I hit the button the second time. When I hit the button the second time, it's going through the whole cycle again, and it's flipping that again and making X go up. And when X goes up, it actually works. So, if we find X, right there, we follow that, motor 4C, and then it comes down and connects to O. Okay. Connects with a, what's that, brown and blue line? So, we're going to follow this wire from X, black and yellow, to motor 4C, and then follow that to find motor O, because most of these are labeled, thankfully, but O is not. I can't really find an O one. Some of them have lost their labels over the years, you know, to find my flashlight to make this better, but we have U and F and U, F. Oh no, is that O? That one is O. O is our top one here. This one's missing the label, this front one. This is the reset one, I know that for sure, or the game start, because it's always on. So when you go through and diagnose yours, this is the first one you're going to look at. If you have a game that just will not start, this has to be on. This, you see how the paper's like destroyed? This is an always on solenoid. It is meant to always be on when the game's on. So if this is not making a good connection, your game will not turn on. This is full 120 from the wall going through that. So you better be careful as well. So this is a really funny note here, but this is supposed to turn the game off if you hit the bottom hard enough. This is like a reset switch here. And look, this is a little piece of paper that comes in the cabinet. It's covered in dust and all that. It says, advise location that tapping bottom of cabinet will turn game off completely. Yeah, so they didn't have switch. There's no switch on the bottom of this game. What they wanted you to do is move this switch or something to a part of the cabinet where you could slap the shit out of the bottom and it would turn the game off, because that would temporarily disconnect temporarily disconnect something. It might not be this one. I know this one's for sure the reset. If you hit that, the whole game will reset. I don't know if this is the one they want you to turn off, but yeah, pretty wild. Yeah, so I'm going to look more into this and figure out why X up here on this bar is not resetting sometimes. But for X to go hot, O has to be closed, and motor 4C has to be on. So I have to trace that, what color was it? That black and yellow wire back to and find what motor 4C is on this. And then I'll come back whenever I figure that out, I guess. Okay. Slowly losing my mind here. But, again, this only happens when the table's down. And when it happens, my ball's in here, the last one always doesn't make it through. So the first 4 fall in, and the last one stops it. So the only thing that ball release is talking to is on ball release plus N and U. So something is opening the connection. An on ball release should be on, and N should stay on until 10,000 points are added. So that's what happens, because this game doesn't have a way to know how it's released the balls. So once it releases the balls, it just the ball release stays open until you get your first point, and then it closes it. But when I restart it sometimes, and this is pretty much all the time when the table's down, you will see it start resetting on the tens line and everything, and then one ball will get hung up, and this will close. Now this should not close until 10,000 points is added, or if U is triggered. Okay, U, where you at, is only triggered by -1 position 10,000 unit. Okay, so what we want to do now is see if U is getting triggered, which, if I understand this, it should get triggered at the very end. It should stay on at the very end, and that should keep this open, because that will keep the coil on. That will keep the on-ball release on. That will keep on-ball release on, because U is closed. And add 10,000 can trigger by N flipping or by U flipping off with motor 1A. So something is turning ball release off, and it's either U turning off or on ball release turning off or N turning off. So now I got to figure that out. My current theory is something on the game board is triggering during the reset and giving the player 10 points. And when it does that, it's stopping the reset sequence, because that turns this lever off when you get 10 points. And that is causing the game to get stuck, because now this is closed, but U is also closed. Right? Isn't U closed when I do this? When it gets stuck in that state, I'm pretty sure U is closed. And if U is closed, then ball release should for sure be down. Ball release should for sure be down if U is closed, according to this. But it's not. But it's not, because X opens. Because usually when I open it, X is open. It's all back to that X again. Because every time it does this, here, let's do it. Frozen up. 20 on the board. Not doing anything. So we got to get all these balls out of here. Or as I found out the hard way many a times already. Okay, so when we get in here, what are we gonna see? We're gonna see U is not closed. Oh wait, U is closed. U is closed. X is open, because X is usually closed, and this is opening X. This is opening X. So, we're back in a loop. We've gone full circle now, pretty much, because we're amateurs at this, and we don't know what the hell we're doing. But that means something is opening X in the sequence, and we're not really sure why, because it's got to be motor 4C and O. And I got to trace this wire again, because I found the... Okay, let me explain that, too. So we'll hit the button again. And it's fine now. And the game's playing, and I can, like... Yep, alright. we found that brown and black wire that goes to U, or goes to O. It's right. Ooh, how am I going to do this? Right there. Right here. That guy. It's really hard to see because it's black and brown. Like, and that goes to the wheel. Goes to the wheel up under this coil here. This one closest to us. It's on one of those pads. At least that's what I found. Hard to trace black and brown around, but I need to get a multimeter and do a continuity check. But anyways, yeah. So we're back to what is triggering X on in that reset. Because when I have the table up like this and I reset the game, I never see X go down. It shouldn't. X should stay up. But when the table's down, something during the reset is triggering X open. And that is causing the entire system mess up because X is right here and usually closed. And that is like, that completes our circuit back to the our transformer. And X is stopping that from getting past when it opens. And that's why our ball release opens and all that funness. So it's got to be X. Something, whatever is triggering X. I hear all the pinballs rattling around in my pocket. It's funny. So 4C closes and O closes. And this is black and yellow. So I'm going to trace that again and check the wheel. And I'm also going to check this guy again. I've already sprayed him with deoxit and everything to see if something's triggering that shouldn't be. But the fact that it's only when the table up is really telling me something up here, though. Right? Wouldn't you think? Anyways, I'll be back. Okay, a better understanding of this whole overall circuit has been achieved. And I think I figured it out. Okay, so we talked about that bus bar in the back, right? That was X. And we were saying when the table is up, we're not seeing X trigger when we reset the table, right? Okay, why is that? Okay, so X is triggered. Put this on the table. X is triggered here by motor 4C, which is our motor wheel, spinning in the position of 4C, which is here, and then 4 on that. You can follow all that. Okay, and O being on. All right. When is O on? O is on when motor 1C is closed, which is normally closed when the wheel's not spinning, and the fifth and the fourth ball are down, or when O is triggered. I don't know what that's doing exactly because I'm not going to follow it, but when fifth and four is down, what were we doing? You saw me go up there and hit the fifth and fourth switch when I reset it, and then I was letting it go, right? That's not how this is supposed to work. All 5 of these balls are supposed to keep those 2 switches down. That is how the game's supposed to be played. X is the game over switch. X is in our route back to power. It's to our ground line, right? This completes the circuit or destroys the circuit. This is game over. So when you get all 5 balls in this, that completes the O circuit along this line, 4 and 5, and through motor 2B, that's normally closed, whatever. And that triggers X. X. Because 4C closes, because you hear it when the game ends, when you get your 5th ball, and O is closed. O is closed because 5th and 4th ball are on. So, let's do this with it up as it should be. Oh, well, let me get 10 points first to actually close the... There we go. Okay. Okay, so now that switch closed. We're playing the game. We got points. And then we lose all our balls, right? You heard that. The wheel spins and you hear a click in the back here. What is that click, you ask? Well, that click is our game over circuit. That's what that is. X. Look, he's down. He's down. So, game over. You have to hit the button to start a new game, right? Okay. So, in the sequence of starting a new game, this triggers here, which should reset this whole bus bar, and X should go up. Okay? So watch it. I'm going to hit the button and see if you see it try to reset X. You did. You saw it. You saw it snap up, and X is reset. But that doesn't happen sometimes. I just did it another time, and when the solenoid cracked up, X didn't reset. It didn't. So the solenoid is either not having enough throw to sometimes fully reset the bar, or X is bent or something. So I got to figure that out. But that is the problem. That is 100% our issue on this and why it doesn't want to reset all the way. And then hitting the button again, what does hitting the button again do? It makes that trigger again. And when that triggers the second time, it does it. It pushes it in. Almost guaranteed. So that's our problem. So when you think about this as a complete circuit, X is your game over switch. That will trigger every time all 5 balls are lined up in the queue. That means all 5 balls have been played, game over, close the circuit on the playfield. So when X is closed, the entire playfield, like the 10s scoring and the hundreds, thousands scoring, it all turns off so that you can't play anymore. So what I got to do is make sure that when that triggers the first time, that X is being closed. Like I said earlier, you always want to check your reset. I think that should be, I think it's R or something. I don't, because it's missing the label, so I don't remember. But that coil is the always on coil. And if your game's on, that should be on. And if it's not, that's why you don't have any power in the machine at all. Because that's straight 110 coming from the wall. Okay? So this game completely works otherwise. I've lubed up the back wheels. It scores perfectly for everything. It's just sometimes when it resets, that does not reset X. The game over. So it's constantly spinning, because the sequence can't be completed because this turns off because X is on. And that's on because O's on and blah, 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 and you go all the way back down the chain. So I might add a little bit onto this video if I can maybe get an exact reason of why, but I'm probably just going to lube up that contact on the wheel and see if that does it. And I bet you it does, but it might not. Don't know. Anyways, this is my first video I've done on this channel, period. But on these, I have another EM pinball machine. This one's about to go out the door. It already has a buyer. I have a Surfer one that I got out of a barn that needs a lot of work. And it's got a same problem on its bar where something's turning on in the reset sequence and not turning off. And that's why that game won't start. So I'll do a video on that. But there it is. A 1957 Gottlieb Royal Flush. And I made these. I just cut that out of paper. I need to make that out of really nice paper and actually make it how it should have looked. But anyways. Fun stuff. All right, there might be an add-on on the end of this if I And just showing that it's working now with the table down. Anyways, thanks. Okay, we're back. And we're even deeper. But I think we figured it out. We were naive to think that that wasn't what was supposed to happen. Well, X definitely isn't supposed to trigger a second time. But why it's triggering is not what we thought it was. Oh, come on. I've dropped this multimeter one too many times, it seems. I want to show this to you. I don't want you to just trust me. Okay, this is our switch that turns on and off when the balls are released. And when this is open, O shouldn't trigger on restart. Okay, so those two are still going to be down, but this should be open to let the balls out. Therefore not triggering O, because in the schematic, that is O, motor 1C, 5th ball, 4th ball, and ball release. And that's this wire right here, orange and white. Oh man, that's going to be a tough focus. You're going to have to trust me because it's behind all those. But it connects to white and red right here by this switch. So see, it opens, and those two don't touch anymore. But watch this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this on camera. Because it's so high up. Okay, that should be looking at it. If I put the switch up, continuity mode, and I touch these two that aren't touching, so somewhere in here we have a short, either in this switch itself or in here, that's letting O trigger again. When it shouldn't, because this is open. This is open. So the ball should be released. But those still have continuity, so I got to figure out if it's in here or if it's in the wires, and if it's in the wires, God help me on finding that. But so that's what I'm going to try to figure out now. Are you ready to see what it was? Up here is our close switch. Where'd you go? Here is our close switch. That's for this guy on 4. And our orange wire here was touching this pad, but this pad was bent back and was also touching the pad behind it. With that removed, this works now. I no longer get continuity when that's open. So that's what it was. It was continuity between these two guys. This guy was bent back. He was touching off on that other guy. And then once I get this cleaned up, I'll show it working. Okay. So to recap, our issue was that our O kept triggering when we started a new game. And we traced that back and found motor 1C, 5-ball switch, 4-ball switch, and that connected to a usually closed on ball release, orange and white. And we found that even when this was open, which is supposed to happen when you start a new game, where's that at? Knocker, tilt, counter, add replay, ball release. When ball release opens, this should open and not be open or not be closed, to not allow O to turn on, because when O turns on, X turns on, and that's endgame. So what was happening is, through some roundabout mess in here, on the 4 switch, we had a orange and white, which connects here, somehow connected through a roundabout way to our red and white end. And even when that switch was open, that was connected, so it was letting X trigger, even when it shouldn't have. So now we got a game that's played 4 balls in here. Points on the board, we'll drop it in. Resets, we'll hit the button. And it fully reset. The game's running again. Before that took 2 button clicks every time. What a strange issue that was. 2 wires touching in a completely different place than where the issue lied. Well, the issue switch, at least. Over here on the 4 switch, orange and white was somehow going through this whole circuit and connecting to red and white, which was making it always think that was closed and always triggering X when O triggered. And there it is. Completely working, as it did in 1957. Thanks for watching.